And now it's time for Impact Corner with Dr. G and Miss Thang.
I have Dr. G on the line with Impact Corner. Good morning, Dr. G. How are you?
Well, good morning, Miss Thang. I am doing absolutely wonderful. How about you?
All is well. It's Monday.
You know what? I'm going to have to, before we come on the radio, what I'm going to do is do this whole coaching thing. So it's all about Monday. No, I'm messing with you,
Right.
But again, good morning to my listening audience. It's good to be back online again. But before we start this morning, I want to ask this question of you. I would like to hear from you in this way. Each show, I would like to highlight at least one or two women who have led with strength, heart, and excellence, and who has blazed a trail in their community. So this morning, if I may, I want to give a couple of shout-outs to two women that I believe have led with strength, heart, and excellence, and that will be my sister in the faith community, Dr. Shanda Duncan, for her tireless work in community. And to my regular listener, good morning, Roydell. So that's Roydell Neverson, who is burning a trail at Hamilton Princess and Beach Club. And as I said, both these ladies have embraced and demonstrated the concept of help her lead. And so as we dive in, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, welcome to Impact Corner. And to recap from last week, as women, we have the ability to shift our communities, you know. We talked about their need for community to live harmoniously together. And we're not looking for our neighbor to live as you and I live, but to be able to respect who they are as a person, regardless of ethnicity, faith, religion, or even financial status. There is need to understand our capacity as women. Remember, the male is the head, and we are the neck. And while we embrace our strength and our influence, we must also recognize that influence without humility can place any person in a dangerous position. I would say more so for the woman, because when we have the opportunity to grow and influence a life, and when the backdrop of our influence is haughty, self-serving, even irresponsible, those behaviors places the larger community at a disadvantage. And then we are unable to move together or forward together, and we become subjected to or become a community that is disharmonious. So Ms. Thang, for some reason, I don't know, we feel powerless to reclaim the type of community we want. And you can call me Dr. G, Miss Optimistic, but I believe that no matter what it looks like, there are more of us who desire a harmonious community than those who don't. Am I right?
I think so.
Yeah. So our focus is help her lead with strength, heart, and with excellence. And this initiative is to encourage a community of women, supported by men, of course, to help redirect the view of our current communities, or to come together for starters. How about just supporting one another? To begin to direct or to lead the community we desire. And that community begins at our personal doorstep. In other words, in our sphere of influence. And I hear you. You're saying you don't understand, Dr. G. This person in my neighborhood. Oh my. This person at the job. They're just simply clueless. For an example, you know, the one in my neighborhood, the children are so wayward. At work, they're like a loose cannon. Well, if this is the case, remember, in order to engage a harmonious community, we must first respect our differences. And if she is clueless, as you say, raising her children, or if she's a loose cannon, then it becomes your responsibility. Well, you identified it, to help her lead. And I hear you again. Oh, no, Dr. G, that's not my job to do that. But if we continue to close our eyes to what is happening in our community, the community will take longer to heal. It will struggle to prosper because persons like you and me, Ms. Thang, who have an ability to impact change, won't engage in the change we desire, but will sit in the "it's not my problem" position while spending non-productive energy complaining about what is and what's not. So before I jump into the topic, having to lead, but it still hurts, I was posed with two comments last week on last week's introduction, and someone mentioned that my assertion on why some of our female counterparts experience success and the others can't get out of the starting block is because they choose to remain where they are. Well, I'd like to challenge that line of thinking today. Sometimes where we are in life is because of two things. Number one, it's not our season yet. And number two, that emotion called fear, oh boy. Well, let's chat about the season. I believe if we were to chat with, let's say, Ms. Roydell, I'm putting you on blast this morning, but for good reason. With a leader such as Roydell Neverson, first Bermudian, and of color, how about the first woman to hold the position of Director of Operations for a 400-bed hotel, the number one hotel on this island? I've had the pleasure of working alongside Roydell since 2015, and I do believe that, well, that's just my presumption. But if the position was offered to her in 2017, I don't know if she would have experienced the level of success she's having now. Why? Because sometimes you have to put time in and develop self for, in this case, the position of Director of Operations, and now represents her season. She can reach back and help someone else to lead just from her experiences. And may I invite you to look at someone in your community, someone who has achieved, but also put the time in that they are fruitful in their season, fruitful or productive. You see, when we consider fruit, each fruit tree produces fruit in its season. Okay, might have been too much for some people this morning. Then for many, the reason one gets stuck is because of fear. You know, that word, that emotion can have a crippling effect on thought and the action because it tells you you're not worth it. Nobody will give you a chance. Why even bother to try? So to the person, I like to keep it anonymous, who articulated that we are where we are due to choice, sometimes those choices are not our choices. As one is based on timing and the other is triggered by way of an experienced threat that causes one to fight or to take flight. Hence the need for this initiative. Help her lead. And to the brother that said a caption, women leadership versus women leading, there are subtleties that we throw out for consideration. Some women lead from a place of nurturing. And there's a time and place for that. When the environment you've been called to lead is inexperienced or immature, nurturing or coaching is required for success. We have some women in leadership that try to lead as their male counterparts lead. And here's where the conflict begins. Our character as women leaders is more cooperative and participatory. Most men lead by command and control style. And for the purpose of this discussion, we desire to redirect behavior to attract, not to deflect the characteristics of a harmonious community. Therefore, our leading should demonstrate a connectivity towards a common goal. Helping her lead with strength, heart, and excellence, that's when the community thrives. So I see I'm hitting on 5 minutes. And if I don't finish this, ladies and gents, I'm going to carry this over because I really need to take the time on this. So, okay, let's look at having to lead even when we are hurting. Women, our anatomy is truly phenomenal. Part of our DNA is tolerance, and each of us as women have a level of tolerance. Some of us are allergic to pain, and some of us can hang with the pain. But we know it has to be done, whether it hurts, and that it is whatever you put in that scenario. Whether it hurts or not, we gotta get it done. And I'm reminded of a story of a young lady named Hadassah. She was raised by her uncle. Hadassah lost her parents, learned how to cope as she had her uncle. He was a father to her. Then the unthinkable happened. Well, let me go back a couple of steps. She was selected to be the next queen. She was Jewish, and the reveal of her ethnicity could get her killed. So her uncle told her she couldn't tell anyone about her background. So now she's the queen. And as a queen, she found out that there was a plot to kill her kinsfolk, her included. Despite enduring the loss of her parents and now having to hide her ethnicity, how much more will she have to endure? And when she heard the news of the plot, she went to her husband, the king, at a most inappropriate time to tell him this planned assassination, recognizing she was dead either way. If she revealed her ethnicity, she was dead. Or if she closed her eyes and hoped this planned killing was not going to happen, which wouldn't have happened that way anyhow because the killing was planned. And because of this massacre was going to happen, no matter her stance, she determined to do something and told her beloved uncle, "Listen, Unc, if I perish, I simply perish." You see, Hadassah, some know her as Esther, found herself leading while it still hurt. She couldn't have allowed her circumstance dictate how she would react or respond to her current situation. Sometimes, as women leaders, life situation outweighs the pain we may be feeling and redirects our energy for the greater cause, and that's helping someone else. Hadassah didn't die. Her emotions and the thought of losing her uncle, Mordecai, that raised her as his own daughter, drove Hadassah into a place and a space of leading, even if the ultimate result was her life. Today, with this illustration, some of our communities are so imbalanced that it may be time to take a stance like Hadassah. We could allow the past hurts of our communities dictate how we react or respond. Or I'm inviting us today, women with our men to support, to begin the process of shifting for the sake of healing our community. Yes, we've all experienced hurt, and some of us are still hurting, and our emotions are really, really raw. But can you see the larger picture? When we can see beyond our hurt and begin to serve others, and I'm just speaking from experience, our healing begins. So next week, as we continue our discussion, leading and working with a dogmatic focus, you've put in the hours, sacrificed family and relations, but you didn't get the promotion, and now you lost everything. You lost your family. Leading, it hurts so bad. Why? Because it's now just you. So I leave you with, let's help her lead. And we do that with strength, heart, and excellence. So today's nugget for newness. Leading should demonstrate a connectivity towards a common goal. Therefore, aim to refrain from allowing the pain from our life situations stifle our progress. And yes, it is a choice. Begin redirecting your energy for the greater cause, and that's helping someone else. Ladies and gents, you are the composer with the pen. Begin transcribing your destiny. Look forward to seeing you next week, leading and working with a dogmatic focus. Remember, you put in the hours, sacrificed family relations. You didn't get that promotion, and now you've lost the family. Leading now hurts because it's just you. Don't forget to hit me up on my Facebook with at least 2 women who have inspired you and led with strength, heart, and excellence. Allow your actions to be intentional today and lead with strength, lead with heart, and lead with excellence. Follow me on my SMs as postings will appear on how you can become part of this movement. So, Ms. Thang, I know I didn't say it, but my Facebook is at Godwin International, Twitter at Godwin INTL, info at Godwin International. When I say international, that means all spelled out in full.org, or LinkedIn, Georgette Prime -Godwin. Some things to think about. What do you think?
Definitely. Let's see how many ladies respond with their woman of choice.
Yeah, we need to salute these women and salute them while they can smell their flowers.
Definitely.
Well, that's it for me, ladies and gents. Have a wonderful day. Be impactful. That means you're intentional. Leading with strength, heart, and with excellence.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. G. Next week, same time.
Yes, ma'am.
Impact
Talk to you
Corner.
soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Ma'am. You too. Bye-bye now.